Coach, how are you? Good to see you again.
We're doing good. Hey, Coach.
Coach,
what's up, bro?
how are you, sir? Good.
That's three. Slow news day. Coach, how are you? Good, how are you?
Hello.
You were singing your praises last week. Gotta keep it rolling. Ryan. Sir.
Well, it's 29 after, but it looks like everybody's ready, so we'll get started. Good afternoon. Welcome to our weekly news conference. Of course, each week sponsored by Georgia Power. Well, you know, each week they present awards for offensive players of the week, defensive players of the week, special teams player of the week. I think they need a new category this week to coaching staff of the week with the job they did last week and keeping players on the field. Obviously, very impressive 45-21 win over Samford. You guys are looking for storylines. You don't have to look far in this game. Mercer tied the record for most sacks in a game at 7, broke the record, school record, tackles for loss at 14. Braden Atkinson's 5 touchdown passes tied the school record. Of course, you know that walk-on receiver turned running back Ty Dowdy had 182 all-purpose yards. Reserve linebacker Anthony Butch Jr. scored a touchdown. And Reese Griffith has now made 109 points after touchdown. That ties the attempted school record for PATs and breaks the record for made. Reese needs 4 more points and he'll become the all-time leading scorer for Mercer. All right, Coach, we'll talk about the Samford game, and then we make a trip this week out of conference. We head to Princeton for a 12 o'clock kickoff. We played those guys here last year, you'll remember. The only time we had played them, and that was in 2024. And then after that, we'll go defensive player Andrew Zock and offensive coach Brian Fulford. So we'll start with Coach. Coach, it's all yours.
Thanks, Rick. Good afternoon. Good to see everybody. Really coming off a really solid win. Again, I really impressive day on campus. We had family day this past weekend and really thought the city of Macon and the community showed out. We had a full house and it was a tremendous atmosphere for our young men to play in. It was great for recruiting and just can't say enough about the community support that we received this past weekend and really all year, frankly, especially with only 5 home games. It's really important. As far as the game goes, man, I thought we played close to a complete game. Certainly when you win by 4 scores, a bunch of stuff goes well for you. Start off offensively. Braden Atkinson, again, continues to play at an elite level for a true freshman quarterback with, I think he was over 70% completions. Again, he's 71% on the season, but he had 365 yards and 5 touchdowns on the day. Could have a little bit more. We had one big miss there, but he really played well. He executed. He completed the ball to 9 different receivers again. We continue to play well on our offensive line. You'll hear from Brian here shortly, but we rushed for just under 200 yards on the day again, and again held them to no sacks. And that's not just specific to the offensive line. That's our tight ends. That's our running back room. I can't say enough about what Ty Dowdy did this past weekend. With the roster limitations that the NCAA has now, where you're capped at 105 if you opt in. I think we started the season with about 103 players, and between attrition and injury and all the things, we're obviously run down a little bit in that room. And Ty stepped up in a big way. We took the young man because he's could do a little bit of everything in high school, was predominantly a receiver, but showed great ball skills and the aptitude to be able to potentially play running back. And he came in and he played at really high level. He had over 100 yards rushing on the day. He had 77 yards receiving, had a big touchdown on an explosive play. And it's one thing to run, but it's another thing when you have no sacks, that means he blocked his butt off too. And so really proud of what Ty was able to do for us. Billy Martin in that room as well came in and rushed for about 68 yards on the day and did a great job in pass protection himself. And so, again, it's what I'm really most proud about our team. It's whatever it takes to win, and whoever it is, it's the next man up. And not only are those next men coming into play, they're playing at a really high level. And so I'm really proud of both those young men, and then again, certainly just the collective group of the offensive unit to keep no sacks on the board. Again, when we keep our quarterback's jersey clean, he's proven to be able to play at a really high level. So as far as the defense goes, again, played extremely good football. I believe it was a shutout there in the first half, and then, had a couple broken plays or MAs that allowed them to get on the board with two explosive pass plays. But on the day in general, we played really well. It was the second time in a row we've held a team to under 70 yards rushing, forced them to be one-dimensional. And again, other than those two big plays, I thought we really played exceptional on defense. Our D-line was really on another level. They had a hard time blocking us. Obviously, they didn't run the ball very well. We affected the quarterback a bunch, with the number of hits, certainly sacks, and then TFLs and quarterback hurries. I thought they were elite. Our linebackers did a great job in that middle coverage area, and then we played significantly better in the back half. So all in all, when you do those things well, it turns into a pretty good day. And again, I know their record isn't indicative. I really think that that's still a pretty talented football team. And so I'm really pleased with our players and their demeanor. We were ready to play, and it was unequivocal going into that game. And really, with the exception of about a 6-minute span towards the end of the third quarter and the beginning of the fourth, we kept the gas on all day, and I thought our kids really, really did well. So with that, I'll open it up for any questions on the weekend.
Yeah, we talked on Saturday, but looking back at the film, a lot of big explosive touchdowns, a lot of big plays on the day. You were going crazy at quite a few of them. Was there one where you were just like, wow, this was super special? Because obviously with Ty's touchdown, everybody was just going on the field, high-fiving them, celebrating with them.
Yeah, I mean, you come into a season and you think certain guys are going to make plays, and you kind of know it's going to happen. But to see a young man who's been on some scout team stuff for us, who's given us a look. So Ty's big play, AJ Butts, we utilize in our goal line package. So to see a linebacker score in a game, it's just Javarius George got his first touchdown. He's a kid that's worked extremely hard in a really deep wide receiver room, and I think he's just getting started for what he can do for us. And so anytime you see the young guys get to have those moments and excel, you saw a bunch of our freshman D linemen. Kobe McGinnis continues to play at a really high level. Ian Johnson-Kelly was in there quite a bit. Miles Dixon. I mean, those guys are all true freshmen, and they're playing extremely well for us. So just to watch the young men, the smiles on their faces, to watch them execute what we've practiced all week, have a good week of practice, and then be able to see it come to fruition in the games is really special.
And then on Braden Smith's, I believe it was his second touchdown. It was like a fake hook and ladder. Was that designed, or was that just Braden Smith IQ right there?
Yeah, well, I mean, he did a nice job, right? They had tied up the running back. I mean, that's a play we've run. We ran against Citadel last year for a touchdown, and so they had kind of jammed the running back up, and he noticed that and was able just to tuck it and run on the tunnel screen, and really savvy heads-up play by him.
What's your favorite trick play in history that you've seen run, either as a coach, either as a spectator? Is there one that you're like, man, I love that. I love that concept. I
don't know, man. There's a bunch of them over the course of time, but in any of those. Listen, I'm an offensive line guy, so we haven't run, but any like fat guy touchdowns where like the tackle comes off the ball and takes it and runs, like Alabama did it with one of their kids. I'm always all for the big fellas getting an opportunity to touch the football. So anything involved with that, I'm pretty keen on.
You guys installing a Humble Roost anytime soon?
No, no. Have you guys? I'm pretty by the book, man. Like it takes a lot to get me off script.
And then looking ahead to Princeton, you guys played them last year.
Yeah.
It's return of a home and home. What are you guys looking forward to doing? Obviously, getting on a plane and traveling. Is that the first time this year?
Yeah, it'll be the first time for us this year, and really with our geographic location in the conference we're in, we're blessed that most of our trips are really kind of in that 4.5 hour range, and so it'll be unique because it's not a playoff game, but we'll be on a plane and traveling to New Jersey, and Princeton played in the first college football game ever against Rutgers, and so obviously a bunch of history with an Ivy League school and the location, and it's a good football team. Coach Service has been there for quite a number of years now, and they've been really consistent. It's a little bit like playing in an academy. They're going to be really well coached. They don't make a lot of penalties, so they don't beat themselves. They're 2-1 this year, and really every game's been contested for them. They're up big on San Diego. San Diego came back, made a run at it. They ended up pulling the game off. They played a really competitive Lafayette team and beat them, and then they were down 10 to Columbia in the first quarter and came back and I think scored 17 unanswered for the win. And so, they're a talented football team. A lot of the same faces we saw last year in that program, and they came down here and played us tough. I mean, we were just talking in the staff meeting, right? Like, I think we were, as a defense, it was almost video game-like, but last year going into the game, we were only giving up like 27 yards a game rushing, and I think they had 117, or their running back did on the day. And so, they present a number of challenges. They're going to be well coached. They're going to be physical, but we'll be up for the challenge. Our kids are looking forward to it, and something different, right? Somebody new in a new area. It's kind of like a playoff game that way,
Is that something you guys are looking to do in the future? I know maybe that's a little bit out of your scope, but like home and homes, is there a benefit to that as a coaching staff? Is that something you're looking to do in the next? You only have 3 non-conference games every year, and you got to be a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, obviously our athletic department handles the scheduling. I mean, home and homes are always best because one of the hardest, people don't realize, like one of the hardest things to do with all this conference realignment, like scheduling games is tough. And it's even if we wanted to play more, a lot of folks don't want to play us if we were trying to go up and play another money game because, we've been traditionally pretty good, and they want to guarantee, they don't want to run a risk. And so a lot of those G5s aren't in that mix for us, but, kind of is what it is. But yeah, I mean, I'm willing to schedule kind of anybody, anytime.
We talked, obviously, you're not going to look at the film then. What is something that maybe you didn't see on the film, or maybe that you didn't see on the field, that stuck out to you when you went back and watched it, whether it's positive or negative, one big takeaway?
It shows up in some of the stat line, but man, I really thought that our physicality was like palpable. Like you can turn on the film and watch us moving another human against their will, whether it's on either side of the line of scrimmage. And I thought that was one of the more physical games we've played since I've been here. And it was, again, you could actually sense it, feel it, and see it. And so really pleased with that aspect of our play. As we grow this, and when I dream about what I want it to look like, I mean, that's, first thing you tell me is I want them to say, hey man, you guys are physical as hell. Like that's what I want them to tell me after, at the midfield handshake. And so I felt that was something that, again, after watching the film, again, there's not a stat for it, but you could see it.
Did Chris Hatcher acknowledge that after the game? That you guys were physical?
Yeah, Hatch just said good job. I mean, I got a lot of respect for Chris, but yeah, he definitely mentioned that we were physical.
We talked a little bit about the conference. It's kind of like it's cannibalism situation, right? That's how difficult this league is. Does it mean anything extra to kind of have a game like that where you're up by a lot of points? I think every other game in the league is like one possession, almost all.
Yeah, I mean, it means we played well, right? Like I still think Citadel's a really good football team, right? And we played really well that day, and we handled our business, so we won handily. We played really well against Samford, and we were able to win handily. But I really do think there is a ton of parity in this conference right now, and you're seeing that. Like you look at Wofford. I mean, Wofford lost by us to a point. They lost to Western by 2 points. They've been in every single game. So like, there's just no gimmies. Like you have to show up in the SoCon every Saturday, and not just show up. You got to be ready to play, because if you're not, anybody can get after you. And I think, that's a challenge of this conference. That's a challenge of playing every single team every year. And it's a testament to the quality of football, although it can skew some of our records because we do beat up on one another.
And then looking at the players of the week, I think it was, 3 or 4 true freshmen that won the award. Who is it that decides that? Is it you and the coaching staff? Do position coaches come to you and be like, hey, I want to nominate this guy? How does that all work?
Yeah, so our process on Sunday is like the coaches get the morning to either grade the film or go to church. Players do as well, and then they come in and lift. While they're lifting, I meet for about an hour with each side of the ball, and we watch a cut-up of the good, the bad, and the ugly from the offense, the defense, and the special teams. And then, we collectively as a staff talk about who the players of the game are. And, sometimes it's guys – sometimes it's really obvious and they got massive stat lines, and then other times it's guys like you maybe not notice, especially if like an offensive lineman ever wins it, right? Like it's, you're watching the nuance of it. But yeah, it's the staff and those staff meetings on Sunday.
Anything else, Coach Jacobs?
All good. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
All right, one of the groups that work as hard as anyone may not get the attention that everybody else gets. That's the offensive line. They work extremely hard. But put yourself in the position of this coach. Here he is, the offensive line coach, and his head coach was an offensive lineman at Ohio State. So just put that in perspective, what it is. And with that, we'll bring up offensive line coach Brian Polker.
He was a better player than me, so
All right, how's everybody doing? Just like Coach Jacobs said, walking away from this game, the thing that stood out the most was our physicality. To me, walking away and watching through the tape, we showed our physicality in pass pro, which is kind of hard to do as an offensive line. You're semi-retreating, just kind of stave off the rush. But you watch our true freshman center, Gavin Marks, clean the pocket. Jamari Freeman out there getting violent in pass pro, and that to me is like, when you're going up against and you're scouting teams and you see a O-lineman that's violent in pass pro and a group that finishes in the pass, like that's a tough group you want to watch out for. And really proud of the guys that showed up there. Braden Atkinson, man, can't say enough good things about him. We've been really fortunate the last couple weeks, and we've kept our sacks really low on the season. I think that's a testament to him and how fast he processes the game. We've got elite speed on the edges, and he gets through his reads pretty quick, and the ball's out, and we don't have to protect too long. But, can't say enough about our running backs this week as well. Billy Martin, Ty Dowdy. Ty came in and learned pass protection in 3 days and came out and executed at an extremely high level on Saturday. So very proud of the group. And like Coach said, man, we want a physical group. I get tell Coach Long all the time, man, iron sharpens iron, man. We got the best D-line in the SoCon, and we have to practice against them every day. All right, so it's no surprise it starts to translate when our offensive line does well. So that's kind of my thoughts from the game. Any questions?
Coach, I noticed up on the sideline, I think it was after maybe the second or third touchdown, you and Gavin Marks went up for a chest bump. I think he maybe knocked you down to the ground.
Yeah.
I just watched the back on that.
Yeah.
Great Martin originally, but what was going on there? That's like 2 big guys just going up and at it.
Yeah, so we give the old air signal from across the way, but I didn't know he was coming in hot, full speed. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna get your ass next time. And so I came in hot the next time, and I got a little forehead action. I was like, I had to check, see if I'm. The guy's he's fired up to play, man, and he makes it fun. When the guys are fired up, it makes it really fun to coach. We talk about intensity and urgency, and getting out there and flying around and having fun, and the guys bring it every day. So, but yeah, he got the better of me on that first one there, and I had to dial it up a little bit coming in after that.
I think Mike talked about it on Saturday, but I think it's the second straight game without a sack. I'm sure that's great to see on paper, but what's kind of the biggest thing that's changed over the season as a group that you guys have really been emphasizing in pass protection, when you guys are doing assignments, things like that? Just can you walk me through that?
Yeah. So as the season goes, we're gelling more and more. We're starting a freshman at center. I call him our shot caller. He's making all the points and all the IDs. We have 2 transfers playing a significant amount for us. 2 sophomores. Like, we're a young group and we're a new group, but we're just gelling. We're hitting a groove. When Braden came in for the Wofford game, like, we stressed and emphasized the importance of keeping a young quarterback clean, especially early in the games. And we weren't able to do that. I think the first series he took a hit. but the kid's as calm as a cucumber. But you know, playing with a young quarterback, man, extreme priority on straining through the echo of the whistle and finishing late. And we've done a boatload of BPU blitz pickup meetings all the time, and we get it out on the practice field every day. So we've been real adamant about the process, and it's leading to good results.
Is that hard to switch up in the middle of the season from one quarterback to another? Or is it just kind of business as usual? Practice habits stay the same. I know you kind of talked about it there, just making sure we keep the quarterback clean, don't put him in a lot of pressure situations. How does that change if the quarterback switch up like that?
So it's along the business as usual line for us. Like we're not willing to give a sack for any certain guy, but just the high stress of a young quarterback, not necessarily the true dual threat style that will, if we are short a guy that he goes off for 30 yards, he's more of a pure pocket guy. So we know we're going to have to finish this deal, the hard way, and to keep him clean.
And then with the running back room this week as a switch up too, you give those guys credits. Ty Dowdy learned pass protection in 3 days. How do you teach it that fast? What's kind of your method to get in, not only your linemen, but your tight ends, your running backs, things like that? How do you get them all?
Yeah, so that's 100% testament to Coach Fred Jones there, the running backs room. But we do weekly unit meetings. We'll have a blitz meeting where we get the O-line, tight ends, quarterbacks, and running backs in, and we'll watch a blitz cut up of the week, and we'll do that once or twice a week. But really, I can't say enough of how good a job Fred did getting Ty ready.
How are you feeling coming into Mercer this year? Obviously, you have some pro experience, but coming here as a coach, what's that transition been like for you? How are you liking it here so far?
Yeah, no, it's been great. I love it here. Coach Jacobs and the staff's been extremely inviting and welcoming of my family. Got a big group, 4 daughters, and they kind of go crazy a little bit, but it's been a good adjustment. And we've spent a good amount of time in the South before. Played for the Panthers for a number of years, and it's been good to get back and enjoy some milder winters and play a really high level of football. And it's like I said earlier, man, it's fun for me because the guys in my room, like, they really love football and they want to get after it. So it's been an easy transition.
Anything else for Coach? Okay, thank you, Coach. Appreciate it. All right, we go to the defensive side of the football. This guy in high school also lettered in basketball, track and field, and weightlifting. Of all the football players in the Southern Conference, there's a few that most any fan can tell you who they are, and that's the guy with the Mercer jersey on number 0. Andrew Zopp. Andrew, come up, give us a little opening statement. They'll ask questions.
Yeah, man. Just looking back to the game, like really proud of my guys on both sides in all three phases of the game. Obviously, we had freshmen step up on both sides of the ball, making plays at special teams, and it's just a testament to the coaching staff and the preparation that they do and that we have to trust in. And I mean, it's just been great seeing people grow up, and I'm really proud of my group, the D-line. Like, they've come a long way, and we got 3 freshmen that are really playing good football. Yeah, just really proud of the guys. Looking forward to getting on a plane and going to play a team up north. Should be fun this week.
When you're playing against a bunch of different guys that are young, and you're a young guy too, right? It's like, how do you guys all just stay on the same page? You're expected to be a leader, you're a captain, things like that. How do you get everybody on the same page?
Yeah, man. I just try to lead by example. Try to show them good practice habits, how to attack weight room, meeting rooms, like all that stuff. So I really just try to do the right things and show them the way. Like, and I think Kobe, he reminds me a lot of myself. Like, he came in, was quiet, didn't know how much he was going to play, and he started the opportunities in camp, and he's just done a great job, and he's really grown into he's grown up a lot and playing high level football for his age. The same thing with Ian and Miles. But yeah, I just really try to lead by example and do the right thing so they can follow that way.
I asked this to Tommy on Saturday, but I'm curious to hear what you thought. There's a lot of guys getting attention on the defensive side of the ball. Was there somebody who you thought really stepped up that you hadn't already mentioned on Saturday's game that you were like, wow, that was a great game, that was really impressive?
I think everybody really came. Like, this was our best. Like, we were just flying around. We gave up a couple of touchdowns there in the second half, but I say the way we started the game, that was about as impressive as I've seen. We were just flying around. I'm proud of, like, Drew Clare, Fox, Prince. Like, they've waited their turn, and they've they've been doing a lot of great things in the back end. Obviously, KJ starting as a freshman, playing good football. Mello had a really good game, and then the safeties, they just continue to come downhill in the run game and play good in the back end. Up front, obviously Kobe got Player of the Week, and he really earned that. Ian Miles stepping in as freshman. I think Dan transferred from a D2 school. Like, that was probably his best game. He's just real violent and physical, and I'm real proud of how much he's come, how far he's come. So I say Dan, like, somebody that hasn't got a lot of recognition, but that really stepped up in the game and played good.
It's family day on Saturday. I know your family tends to travel to a lot of games. What does it mean to just have them here, or even really at most of your games, just there to support you every week?
Yeah, I mean, that's everything. Having a support group like that, like, they've sacrificed a lot for me to just be here in this situation that I'm in now. And my mom always told me, like, she doesn't want me to pay her back with, like, she just wants me to go out there and do what I love, and everything will pay for itself as far as the sacrifice she made. But we were actually talking about it during the bear walk. We were walking up, and usually my family and the whole group that comes with them is the first 10 on the left, and they were up there on the right because how many people were here, and they beat them up to the bear walk. So it was really cool to see just how many people showed up and showed out. But having a support group like that, like, it means the world, man. And they really drive me, and I'm really, really grateful to have them in my life.
Awesome. I know Rick talked about you played basketball and you did track and field. When was that moment where you were like, all right, I'm going to stick to football, or did you play all 4 years? Did you play every sport for all 4 years?
I played all of them all 4 years, but there was never a moment where it was like, I'm thinking about it. I always knew, like, football was my thing. I just did those to really help me, like, develop and just keep me busy. It was more fun for me. But football's always been the thing. I knew I wasn't about to go play no basketball.
And you guys are getting on a plane this week. Is there like a road trip snack you always love to bring? Is there something you're bringing on the plane this week? You know, like what's the one thing like that's plane essential for you, or even a trip essential?
I gotta keep a pillow and something to drink. Like, I gotta get like 3-4 waters, a couple Powerades. Really, food. Some of the times I don't even. I'll share my food with somebody else just because, like, I don't need all the snacks. But I just got to keep something to drink. Like, it's even in my room. I don't got a lot of snacks, but I always got something to drink. But yeah.
Flavor of Powerade.
Oh, I go 0 sugar all the time. People are always like, "You want 0 sugar?" I'm like, I think they taste better for you. I'll say probably the purple Powerade I like.
It's a good pick.
You know.
It's a good pick.
You know, I don't know if you know this, but he gets almost excited for your sacks as he does for touchdowns. I mean, perhaps even more so. Is there anything more exciting for you than when you bring down the quarterback?
Nah, it's what you dream about. It's what you play for. Obviously, some of it comes down to luck. Like, I watched Dan. There was a couple of D linemen that were literally wrapping up the quarterback. He's falling to the ground. He just throws it. And I mean, that's part of the game. But when you can actually get your hands on the quarterback and bring him down, like, it's a drive changer. And I mean, that's what you prepare for. And when it actually ends up happening, man, it's just there's nothing better than it.
You guys obviously had an incredible game on defense, but how much are you guys able to watch the offense out there? I mean, you know, you're obviously in the game, you're working on stuff throughout the game, right? But are you guys pretty excited when they just started connecting on the deep balls and Kai got involved? You know?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's great. Obviously, I think we started like the first 5 drives for them were 3 and outs, so we were on and off the field quick, and we were like, nobody's even tired. So you watch 3 plays from the film, and then you're able to walk around and watch the offense drive down the field. I'm just really proud of the entire offense side of the ball. Obviously, we got playmakers on the outside, had a couple young running backs really step up, and obviously our quarterback, he's just done an outstanding job. And then the O-line, like, he talked about iron sharpen iron, and I feel like it's the same way. Like, that's the best offensive line that I think we can see, especially in the conference, and they do a really good job of just getting us prepared. It's a good challenge every time that we get to go against them, and then scout guys give us a great look in practice. So when we're able to see those guys go out there that we were competing against for so long, now we get to see them go out there and make big plays. Like, there's no better feeling than watching the offense run up the score and us keeping the score off the board.
Does seeing Let's Get a Touchdown on Saturday, does that give you hope that maybe you might get the chance? Like, if you're on the 1 and they run like if you're lining up the fullback, you go in and punch one in, does that give you hope that you might get out there one day? You're on punt protection, you're on defense, but get on the offensive side of the ball.
Oh man, that'd be awesome. I used to get the ball in high school, but I mean we've talked about maybe doing something in the future, but you can't think too far ahead, get out no game plan, you know what I'm saying? But no, it'd be a cool feeling. Just proud of Butts, man. He's put in a lot of work. Came back from an injury when he first got here, so I'm really proud of him. And no, it'd be awesome to go make it score a touchdown.
Andrew, I see you line up on the right side a lot of times, then you look over to the left. You get a moment where you go, oh boy, I get to attack the left side now, or hey, you want like, oh man, I can't wait to get back to the right side. You just kind of lick your chops when you get to switch up like that.
I mean, yeah, I just play, right now I've been playing in the field. My whole first year and then most of the beginning of this year I was playing in the boundary, so that would determine where I was lined up at. But now I'm in the field and I got even more space to work with, and I mean, that's an awesome feeling. Obviously, we always find a matchup that we think might be better for us, and we can go attack that. But anytime I get a chance to go rush the passer, I don't really care who's out there in front of me. I'm ready to go make a play.
Andrew, what do you think you learned from that veteran group that you guys had last year? You guys had the best players in the country, and you're just a freshman then. What do you think you learned from that group that you're like applying this year if you want to be here?
Yeah, I say going back to what I said about leading by example, like the guys that were here last year, they did a great job of that. They brought me in under their wing, and I was like Kobe when I got here. I was quiet, didn't know how much I was going to play, but I was put my head down and work. And they did a really good job of just showing me the daily habits that you had to have, how to prepare for games, come into practice every day, attack the lifts, take notes in meetings. So the guys that were here last year, like they did a really good job of just showing me how to adapt to college football and how to eventually be able to lead a younger group, which we have this year. So really thankful for the time that I spent with them, and it's meant a lot.
Okay, anything else for Andrew? Thank
All
you,
right,
sir.
thank y'all.
Just to let you know, he's an equal opportunity defensive lineman. 2 weeks ago, the center happened to be in the way between him and the quarterback, so he took the center down and the quarterback just to make sure he shared the love around. All right, next week is a bye week, no news conference, so we'll be back here 2 weeks from today. But again, kickoff at Princeton, 12 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. Thanks to everybody for being here. Meet, help yourselves to lunch. Thanks so much.